Mission accomplished. The Phoenix Suns went to the Staples Center, Los Angeles, California, for Game 6 to take on the defending champion, Los Angeles Lakers. And they boat raced them, ladies and gentlemen. They boat raced them. Devin, Armani, Big Dick fucking Booker boat raced the Los Angeles Lakers. Suns win. Hashtag beat LA. Mission accomplished. We have defeated the Los Angeles Lakers. Welcome to the Suns Jam Session and the Solar Panel Podcast. I'm joined by Matthew Lispy. I'm joined
Lispy.
Lispy. He's so excited. He's got a lisp now.
I do have a lisp with his Invisalign.
It's the Invisalign Lispy. I'm joined by Greg Esposito. I am so excited to spend this time not only with our Jamsters and our Flaming Ballers, but also with you two fine gentlemen. Suns win!
Hell yeah!
Dude. Oh my God. I don't even know how to feel right now.
Look, we waited 11 years for this, right? Could it have been any better than what we got in that first round? There's an injury. You feel like, oh crap, all the demons are still here. And then they win 3 in a row on the back end, and they kick them in the teeth in the final 2 games. There is not anything better than the way that they won this. It was, I won't say it was worth the wait, but it was damn close to worth the wait for 11 years. And Devin Armani Booker, Armani mode in full effect in LA. He's no longer be legendary. He is legendary. He took care of it in Kobe's house. Let's go, Phoenix.
Well, let me see if I can get louder than anybody else in here. Sorry. I live in an apartment, so I probably just woke everybody up. But, dude, honestly, underdogs always, right? This whole series, I mean, nobody could pick this team, including me. I mean, until it was 2 minutes left, I was just like, dude, just pull it off. You have to be up by like 10 points at least. But I was so nervous the whole time, right? This 20-point lead, the 15-point lead, it was just like, it seemed like a 2 or 3 point lead the whole game. That's the way it seemed to me, but absolutely amazing, man. I feel like I went to another level in life. Like I'm in like another dimension, kind of like in an upper echelon in heaven right now. It feels good. Like I'm on cloud 9, man.
Yeah, that's probably the edibles, Matthew. I told you got to avoid edibles before the podcast. The edibles. Okay, all right, cool. Well, we'll be drinking.
I would
some
be
beers.
seeing 3 of you.
Just aim for the one in the middle, right, LeBron?
Yeah,
right, LeBron. Your heavy shoulders,
yeah, exactly,
your broad in shoulders. I mean, it's just
he took it in the one in the middle in the last 3 games of this series.
He did.
Oh man. Plenty to talk about on this edition of the Suns Jam Session / Solar Panel Podcast. If you are joining us live, whether it be on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, thank you. We truly appreciate it. It's been a hell of a ride during this series, and I'm excited because, it's on to the next series, on to those Western Conference semifinals for your Phoenix Suns. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and you subscribe. Hit the little bell notification that will let you know whenever we go live, which is after every Suns game, and the season continues. So this is absolutely fantastic. We are going to be joined real quick by Dave King. Dave, just say hi because I'm going through the housekeeping notes. Say hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Now go crazy. Now yell at us. Go be like,
yeah, please yell.
I still don't have my voice from Game 5. It's been very awkward at work. I'm like, hey, how you doing?
Oh, you're going through the change, huh?
You sound like me then normally.
Well, I just got my Manscaped products in the mail today, so.
Yeah.
Don't get too close or you might go up another octave. So.
Yeah, I trimmed something off I wasn't supposed to trim off. So
on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to remind everybody to subscribe to the pod at Suns Jam, at Suns Solar Panel. I'm at Darth Voida. He's at Matthew Lissy. He's at Dave King NBA, and he's at Espo. If you got a beer, please crack them with us, Suns fans. Matthew, are you going to be drinking with me tonight? Please tell me.
Yeah, yes. I got 2 beers, and I don't want to disappoint Espo and Dave King tonight, but I'm going to stone cold these 2 guys outside really quick. Oh, I already dropped one.
This one beer.
Don't forget
All right,
Invisalign.
So I'm going to put myself on mute, and I'm gonna do this outside. So just cut me off whenever it looks terrible.
Is that
right,
why you're
John?
standing by a window?
Yeah, that's why.
Exactly.
He
in my tiny apartment
outside.
Nothing says great for the audio version of the show like going on mute and chugging 2 beers. Let's go, Lizzie.
You'll see. This is gonna be beautiful.
All right, we'll start stone colding them. Okay, he's stone cold in beers. You can't hear it if you're listening, but if you are listening, this is a reminder to subscribe to the Bright Side of the Sun Podcast Network. Leave a 5-star review. Yeah, I mean, there we go. Now it's no longer reflective. Now we are seeing Chandler Boulevard. I think that's a cop out. Oh, Invisalign's coming out, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Something you didn't
Matthew
need to
Paulus,
see.
he's going to Stone Cold Steve Austin him. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Cheers, Suns.
Hey, what do you take one sip out of each can and then stop? What was
He's
that?
a rookie. He normally drinks vodka. So cheers, Suns fans. Let's talk about this series clinching win over the Los Angeles Lakers.
Let me hear it. Let me hear it. Let me hear it. Come on, let me hear you say. B-L-A. 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 Go Suns. B-L-A. Let me hear you say. B-L-A. Let me hear you say. B-L-A. Let me hear you say. B-L-A. Go Suns.
And once again, the Suns did abide. 3 straight victories to close out the Los Angeles Lakers after being down 2-1 in the series, headed to Los Angeles. They win game 3. They win game 4 in fantastic fashion, and they win game 5 also in fantastic fashion. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as Dave puts on the solar panel hat, as we welcome Saul Bookman to the podcast.
Oh, man.
How are we all feeling, ladies and gentlemen? We feeling good? We feeling okay tonight?
I haven't felt this good in years, my friends. This is special. Don't tell the missus because I got married and had a kid in the last 11 years. But yeah, this is better than all that. This is fantastic. All right, our boys are back. Then that's all that matters.
Your boys are about to be gone if you keep going on like this. I promise you that.
Well, I don't know my boys. They're on visitation rights. All right. But the Suns are back. Let me make it clear.
Man.
Coda Kid,
That was
man. He's
beautiful.
calling you out, Dave. He said we did it in 8. We did it
5
in 8.
wins.
5
Hey, look,
wins.
man.
We could win
No.
5 and 8.
Wait a minute. I said 5 wins in 7 games. I am not wrong.
You're not wrong.
You
I'm
know,
not right,
they
but I'm
should have
not
won
wrong.
game 2, so they kind of did get 5 wins.
I want
Dave,
credit
so.
for that.
We'll give you your credit, Dave.
Did you guys see me
called it,
change in the
man.
background?
No,
No, we
thank
didn't.
God.
Oh,
No.
damn it.
Yeah, sorry, Matthew. No one saw you change. We did see you
No one
sip
even
a couple
cared I did
beers.
that.
No, everyone was calling you a legend in the chat. I mean, they're just
Okay.
happy
That's
that you're
what I
actually drinking on
wanted.
the podcast.
Just
That's
don't
what I
look
wanted.
back at the chat. That's
More-
it. Just don't
Okay,
look back at
okay.
it.
More stone old as he gets 2 sips in
Stone
and puts
old.
the beers down.
Stone old,
Stone
please
old.
stop in.
Oh man.
13-point
Oh.
victory, although it never was really that close. Let's talk about Devin Armani Booker. I normally save this for the back end of the podcast, but you know what? I'm starting right off the bat with the
Jam star of the game.
Devin Armani Booker.
Really?
In the house that Kobe Bryant built. Went full, as Espo likes to say, Armani mode. Comes out absolutely crazy. 33 points in the first half. And just, when the lights were at the brightest they've ever been in his career, on the road in a closeout game, one of the hardest things to do, he just went absolutely apeshit. How great was it to see him just hit everything? Everything. I mean,
Wow.
the most 3-pointers in his career tonight. The Suns, 10 threes in the first quarter. I mean, they came out and picked up right where they did in game 5 and ultimately snatched the soul from the Lakers. Now, the Lakers are a team that is a defending NBA champion. And I kept, kind of reminiscing about Independence Day when you have the president played by, I forget who it is. Saul, you can probably
Bill
help me out on
Pullman.
that. Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman.
Thank you, Espo, who says, he has a famous speech. He's like, we're going to live on. We're going to survive. Like, that's what the Lakers were trying to do in the third quarter. So in the first half, you had Devin Booker go crazy. In the second
That's
half, you
not
had
a
them
great
fighting back.
Reference since
No,
the-
because they were trying to come back. They were doing everything. Almost to the point of dirtiness. And then CP3 orchestrated a 10-0 run, and then that was ball
they
game.
were just
He went
missing a
went
Randy
straight
Quaid.
up the back end, just like they did in Independence Day, and he took care of business. All right?
Exactly. As we say in
You
my
guys don't
generation,
know how
up
analogies
yours. LeBron James, 14-1 in the first round and 0-1 in his career against the Phoenix Suns in the playoffs.
You come
Talk
at the
amongst
king,
yourselves.
you best not miss. And Booker went right between the eyes in that first half, and that
Man.
was it. That was all they needed.
Career high in threes, by the way. We've been talking about Booker topping out at 6 threes in a game for his whole career. He's been in the league for 6 full years. He's had 6 threes in a game more than a dozen times. I got to go back and look, but it's crazy how many times he stops at 6. It doesn't matter how early he got to 6. He would just stop at 6 in all these games until tonight. He made his 7th in the second quarter. He made his 8th in the fourth quarter. And then he's at career high 8 threes, 8 out of 10. Has Booker ever shot 80% from 3? I don't know if that's. I didn't know he could do that.
Next year
I
he'll be
doubt
shooting
that.
45 now, right? That's a
Oh,
lot of
wow.
confidence going into next year. I mean, the season's not over, but I'm just
Next
saying.
year, what is
Jesus. Listen, go somewhere else with your rookie-ass playoff moves. Let's go, man. Set
No,
up your
the
game. We still got
the
the
playoffs-
Nuggets coming up, man.
I know, but I
Nuggets.
mean, it's just enough for next year, though. He looks back at this
What are
game.
you
He's like,
looking
dude,
towards next year?
Nuggets
You know
and
what this
then
state
the
is known
Jazz
for?
After the
and then the
championship.
Nets.
This state is known for next year. Like, I went to the University of next year at Arizona. It's always about next year.
That's
Hey,
true.
live in the now. Right now is what we're talking about. Devin Booker was a boss tonight. He was so unbelievable. I can't even say enough good things about Devin Booker. I was kind of, I wouldn't say hard on Devin Booker, but I would say I wasn't drinking all the juice like a lot of other people were, because I wanted to see him perform in the playoffs. And even though he had 34 in game 1, I still wanted a little bit more. The last 2 games, he was the best player in the NBA, period. Not even close.
So can you
Maybe Dave
pull a
Lillard.
clip?
Maybe.
Can you pull a clip of when you guys were questioning Devin Booker and I had to defend his ass one Saturday morning? I want that whole clip to play over and over.
Play the whole clip. Play the whole clip.
want it.
Said I want to see him do it in the playoffs, and he
And
did
he
it in the
did it.
playoffs. And that's what he did.
there's nothing wrong with that. No
Yeah,
one.
there's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
saying that.
there's nothing
You
wrong
gotta
with
predict
challenging
things
him.
for it
I
happens, man.
also was the one that said I wanted to play the Lakers in the very first round.
Yeah. I
Because of
understand.
this very example, the injuries, the lack of chemistry for the Lakers, the whole 9 yards, it all came to fruition, especially in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
The Lakers fell apart. LeBron gave up. Curtains.
You're also the guy who said you'd pick 2 other guys over Devin Booker when it came to playoff guys. What was that? Jamal Murray and who else
How
was
many
that?
points
And
has
what-
Jamal
and
Murray
what-
scored this
And
playoffs?
what was the reason why? What was the reason why?
Because you hadn't seen him do it in the playoffs.
Thank
you.
Just
All right.
give you a hard time, my friend.
Thank you.
How many points has Jamal scored?
How many points did you score last year? Well, I mean,
Let
That was
there
last
be
year.
peace on earth and let it
Hey,
begin
Jesus
with
Christ.
me.
Look,
So Devin Booker scores 47 points tonight. Okay, he ends this series averaging 29.6 points. Again, really showed up when this team needed him to. And as you know, we're talking about past squabbles. We should be appreciating what we saw tonight, what we've seen this series. We'll talk about Denver here in a bit, but I'm not scared of Denver like I was of the Los Angeles Lakers coming in. Now, granted, they were hampered in this series, and Anthony Davis surprisingly got the go tonight. What did you guys think of the doctor saying, well, he can't hurt it more than he ultimately can? And what do you think of the Suns making the adjustment, saying, okay, AD clearly looks hampered out here. He was playing at the top of the key, passing the ball every time it was given to him, and they decided to attack him on defense, and that's ultimately what led him to exit the game with about 5 minutes into the game. What do you guys think of AD playing?
Frank Vogel he was the best player on the Suns this series. He completely screwed the Lakers. He really did. I can't believe Montrezl Harrell and even EJ pointed it out that he didn't play more, because when he was in the game for those few minutes he was effective. He had a lot of energy, and he was like the only Laker with energy. But for whatever reason, he must have Montrezl Harrell must have killed his dog or something like that, because something bad happened for him not to be able to play. Frank Vogel was awful in this series. Got out coached.
Hey, look,
every step of the way.
Montrez did have energy. I'm with you, Saul, on that. He did have energy out there, but the box score 1 for 4, no defensive rebounds, minus 16. Maybe he wasn't as effective as he looked like he was.
Who gives a crap about Montrezl Harrell? That was not going to be the difference in this series. All right. And you know what? Props to Charles Barkley, who I think helped out the Suns in this series by calling Anthony Street Clothes Davis. I think that got under Anthony Davis's skin, and that's why he forced his way into going in this game. And those first 5 minutes when he was on the floor is what dictated how this game was going to play out. And the Suns played it smart. They went right at him on when he was on defense. And Devin hit the knockout blow when he took it to the rim. He didn't make that shot, but he made it pretty clear that Anthony Davis wasn't going to be able to go the rest of the way. That's exactly what the Suns had to do. It was one of those turns where we saw the Suns kind of have that lack of a dip in energy when Chris Paul went down. Well, I think that was when the Lakers went, I don't think this is going to go our way. And that's when that run started for the Suns. And heck of a move by the Suns to attack him right away. I mean, it's not rocket science. You go after the guy that's injured, but they did it and it worked. And it carried over throughout the game.
Yeah, you can definitely tell, like, he was even coming off the bench to start the game. He looked like he didn't want to be there. Like, he just mentally, he was just like, I'm going to try my best, but I'm not going to make it to the first quarter. So it was okay for him to start, but it's so weird because CP3 to play makes sense, right? He's a guy who's older, trying to go after his first championship. This is maybe the best shot he's had in a while with this team. And he's going to play. But Anthony Davis is like, they just won last year. And I know his injury is probably not going to linger till next year. But, like, what are you going to do the next playoff round? Even if you beat the Suns, you're going to keep resting and getting hurt, falling on the ground, all that bullshit. No one wants to see that. So I'm glad, of course, he got hurt and was out the rest of the game, because it's just like, don't force it and hurt yourself even more. I still like Anthony Davis as a player. Of course, I hate the Lakers. But, like, don't ruin his career by just forcing him to play a meaningless game. You're not going to win the series or even go to the championship with the injuries they have. So I think it was smart for him to, I don't know if he faked it or not, but you can tell he was actually really hurting and he couldn't go on any longer. So it was good that he actually left.
Go ahead, Dave.
Can I ask a favor? Can we start talking about the Phoenix Suns?
So the
This
Phoenix
feels
Suns,
like a lot like
Phoenix
a
Suns
Lakers
win.
podcast.
well,
You know
no,
what
that was just my
favorite
first question.
My favorite part of this whole podcast so far is that Dave's like, "Hey, can we pull up that video of Saul dogging Devin Booker? Like, we have some
No,
production
my favorite
team in the
part
back."
is me saying, let's talk about the Phoenix Suns. We're 17 minutes into a Suns
Hey,
podcast
intern.
after they won the
All right,
first
so here
round.
you go, Dave.
Intern,
Here you
pull
go.
up that video, intern. Gotcha.
Here you go. Okay. There's one thing that I mentioned yesterday on a piece on Bright Side of the Sun. So if you haven't been to Bright Side of the Sun, stop by Bright Side of the Sun and read BrightSideOfTheSun.com. But so many people have been focusing on what the Lakers have done wrong this series. Let's talk about what the Suns have done right.
Everything.
The Suns, everything, defense, tenacity, teamwork, the ability to stop runs. I think that was the most important thing about this game, was their ability to stop runs. Campaign in this game was not pleasurable to watch. He was 1 for 8 from the field, but he was 4 for 4 from the free throw line. And those free throws came in the third quarter when the Lakers were starting to push the pace, when LeBron was starting to try to drive to the basket and impose his will. Campaign did the same on the other end. Their ability as a team to come together and do all the little things right. If you do those little things right, the big things take care of themselves. Well, guess what? The big thing is 4-2 over the Lakers. We don't have to worry about a game 7. Shout out to So Says Jay, from Fanning the Flames. Justin bought tickets to go see somebody, I forget, on Saturday night at 7. And guess what? He knew it because the Suns weren't going to be playing at that time. The Suns did all those things that they needed to do.
I think it was Alanis Morissette, right?
Probably. Isn't that ironic?
Whitney
Don't you think?
Cummings, all right? He's going to
Whitney Cummings. That's right. Whitney
Okay.
Cummings, comedian.
Comedian.
But again, the thing that the Suns did right in this series was everything that they did right all season long. They were a team in every aspect of the word. They played team defense. They played team offense. They, executed when they needed to. And it's just the way that this series ended was poetic. Going to LA and just putting our foot on their throat, having Devin Booker do it. The empty stats guy, the guy who's an all-star twice because he, was because of injuries. He wasn't voted to all-star teams. All these national pundits who, I think, who said it to John Bloom. John Bloom tweeted out something about Devin Booker, and Adam Shine's like, "Oh yeah, I've been a fan the whole time." It's like, yeah, everybody all of a sudden's a fan of Devin Booker. And you know what? Good. Welcome to the Devin Booker bandwagon. Welcome to the Suns bandwagon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard. Purple and orange. That's what we bleed here.
You know what? I will say this. I stumbled over my words before the series started because I said something about styles, right? And how the Suns like to slow it down, but they need to speed it up, right? It's roughly what I said because I kind of fumbled. But the style that the Suns needed to play was whatever style they thought was going to be most effective against this Lakers team. And we saw them get out and run and run and run, and guys like Cam Payne and guys like Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson that kept that flow going, it really just wore the Lakers down. And I mean, the last two games, I mean, you look at the score. If the Suns were playing at home this time around in this game, it would have been a 40-point win just because the Lakers had no juice. And so, I mean, the Suns, Monty Williams did a great job adjusting and really figuring that out as the series went along. And once we got to game 5, really, it was basically over.
I give it to Suns fans too, man.
Yeah.
The atmosphere in those home games gave that team something that I don't think they expected. And part of that was because they didn't have that many fans in the building until the playoffs started. But that's really Devin Booker's first experience with true Suns fandom, right? That's the first time he was introduced to how much this city loves this damn team. And I think that what they fed on in game 5 at home carried over into tonight, that they still felt that energy from that group. And I give Suns fans a huge amount of credit for stepping up and not only not letting Lakers fans get tickets in that building, but then showing out too when they got in there.
We're going to have to really get rid of all those Denver fans coming in.
Hey, there's a comment in here that I guess Charles Barkley said on TNT that this Suns team would not have beaten a healthy Laker team. But what frustrates the heck out of me, no, Matthew, you're nodding.
Yeah, who cares?
What frustrates the heck out of me is that we're not saying a healthy Suns team versus a healthy Lakers team. Everyone's just accepting the Chris Paul injury, but then excusing the Anthony Davis injury.
Yeah,
that's BS. Chris Paul was a shadow of himself this entire time. Well, that's what we're going to hear, though, Espo. We're going to hear the national media saying that first round was fake.
Yeah, and we're going to hear that LeBron had an ankle that was hanging on by one tendon and was like Grant Hills when he had to leave, when he had to sit out all those years, but he powered through it. I don't give a crap.
Do you think
Suns got what was important?
Do you think he's in the post game right now with a boot on?
He probably had crutches walking in.
Yeah, there you go.
He'll probably have a shoulder thing on.
He probably has like six or 7 orphans with him right now. Just hanging out. He's like, I gotta take care of these guys. All right.
Did you know?
Look at Saul's face. Saul's face is worth the price of admission.
That's called the Lissy.
I don't even know where your head is at half these times.
But the thing is with the Suns in this game, dude, they were doubted no matter what. Like, even with the injuries the Lakers had, they were still doubted. I mean, I was listening to the Ringer, the NBA podcast. They were like, 60% chance the Suns win this series. It's like, what? With the injuries that the Lakers have right now and how the Suns have looked, even with Chris Paul's injury, 60%. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, but no one really believed in this team anyways. So,
well, the Suns have continuity, and the Laker team is a team that couldn't develop continuity this season. They were less than what they were last year, given the sum of their parts. They dished off some people. They didn't have the opportunity to play together, and the Suns truly adjusted over the series. Because you think about it, you think back to the first 4 games of this series, and we were all praising the efforts of DeAndre Ayton. And the Lakers adjusted. They're like, okay, we're going to try to push DeAndre Ayton around a little bit. We're not going to let him get the easier rebounds. And the Suns adjusted accordingly. They're like, okay, we will be a guard-based team now. We've let the big man carry us a little bit. And now it's time for the guards to do it. And that's what they did these last 3 games or 2 games.
I say, I mean, in the next series, it's going to be even funner, I think, because now you have DA against Jokic.
And he plays well against him.
He does play well against him. You have Devin Booker, you have Aaron Gordon. I mean, you have a list of stars despite the fact that Jamal Murray's not playing. Denver is still a very, very good team. And I know you said that the Lakers are a better team if they're healthy. I disagree. I think the Nuggets would have beaten the Lakers easily had the Lakers found a way to get past the Suns. So the Suns have their hands full. It's going to be freaking fun as hell to watch. But in this game, particularly going back to it, I love the composure that the Suns showed, especially in the fourth quarter. It looked a little dicey there for a second. I think Suns fans were like, oh, not this again. But again, CP3 found it. He found it. I don't know how he found it. He found some magic juice in that shoulder just to get like 3 more shots out of it, and he hit them all. Even the threes, just the fact that he could shoot those threes. I don't care that he missed. He showed the Lakers, like, I can shoot this. And it's the closer that we've needed.
Yeah.
Look, Chris Paul is like that blanket when you're a kid that is like that thing that just calms you down no matter what's going on, right?
Very true.
He came in the fourth And things started to feel like maybe this is getting a little closer than we want. 3 assists to guys to hit big shots, getting in the lane, hitting a midi himself like that. He took care of it. Like I'm a nervous wreck during this stuff because I have flashbacks to just basketball trauma of the past, right? Every time anything like this starts to happen, I go, it's all gonna fall apart because I'm psychotic, all right? Which is on display on this podcast a lot. But Chris Paul, when he came in, I went, when that happened with about 6 minutes, I'm like, they got this, and that's not a feeling I usually have. So I thank you, Chris Paul, for being somebody that not only calms the team down, but calms some of the more neurotic fans down as well.
I also want to give big credit to Cam Johnson. So he's one of the young guys who had not had a great series up until now. Tonight, 10 points. He took a couple of hard hits on hard fouls, driving to the rim. 2 of 3 from the field, made all his free throws, 4 rebounds, couple assists, couple steals. Man, that guy was everywhere in a role, in a role playing situation. Mikal Bridges was really good tonight too. He just didn't make all his threes. He missed 5 out of 6. But man, those guys, it was really, really good to see those guys.
But Dave, don't you think Mikal, I don't know why, but Mikal in the fourth quarter shooting a 3, I don't get nervous about it. I'm like, I'd rather him shoot that. And he hit that 1 3 in the fourth quarter. And it was like you knew he was going to make that one before he even shot it. And it was just like, man, there's something about that kid that I'm just like, man, I feel really confident about Mikal Bridges in the fourth quarter. Love that.
He hit that 3, got a block, and that was a big turn.
He's not afraid of the moment at all. No, he's just like, you know what? I'm here. I'm a role player. This is what I do. Boom.
What about Jay Crowder? The guy was the whipping boy in the first part of this series. Everybody just complaining about him. He came through huge in this back half, especially in this game. Kept connecting from deep, and that was a huge reason that they kept the
6 threes, 2 blocks, 8 rebounds, a steal. Yeah, that guy.
And
that
Jay
Crowder
with 2 technical fouls.
Yes, did he do the salsa dance? I think I missed that because I was setting up.
And I know EJ talked about the first 3 minutes of the second half being the most important. You got to come out and don't give him any life, right? But the way Jay Crowder came out and started the game, I felt like told the Suns like, yeah, we're here to win this game, and everybody kind of fed off of that for the rest of that half. Really, I thought he did a great job setting the tempo.
Well, and he was open because the game plan was, all right, we'll try to double team Book, we'll try to double team Chris Paul, and on the first few possessions when they rotated around, following those collapses, there was Jay standing wide open at the ball, and you know what? When he knocks those down, it's like you can feel it. As a Suns fan, you can feel it. When Jay hits his first couple shots, I know there's like Bridges' law out there on Twitter, but Jay's law, it's a more of a confident feel. Going back to Mikal Bridges, the way that he, we used to not have confidence. He used to have that giddy up in his jump shot when he was a rookie, and the way that he's developed, and he personifies the hustle of this team. I mean, there was one play early in the game where there was 3 Lakers, and he had an offensive rebound and a putback that was just, the team feeds off the energy. You look at the energy guys, it's low key Mikal Bridges and high key, if you will, campaign. I mean, the way that they bring it night in and night out, the rest of the team, they dictate that pace and that energy. And when Mikal had that block late in the game, I mean, just in its totality between those guys, and Espo always says it, as the Suns will go as both Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson go. You look at tonight's performance by both of them. Bridges had the 10 points. Cameron Johnson had the 10 points. But you know what? They both were bodying up LeBron and trying to take his blows. LeBron ended with 29 points on 26 shots and 3 for 10 from deep. Seeing Cam Johnson take on LeBron James, that's our that's our 11th pick last year that everyone booed. Seeing Mikal Bridges. I mean, you look at the core of this team, and I was talking about this with somebody today. I'm like, the core of this team, outside of Chris Paul, is all guys that we've pretty much drafted in some fantastic role players. And it makes you so excited as a Suns fan to see a team develop into a team that is the 2 seed who just dethroned the defending champs and sent LeBron home packing in the first round. So now he's surrounded by 17 orphans.
My favorite part.
I'm going to say something awful that nobody's going to like, but you know the guy who drafted 3 out of those 4 of those guys?
Yep.
Right.
I was talking about last night.
Just saying.
The trial
Does he get
for
a statue?
Ryan McDonough continues.
Should we build him a
My-
statue or what?
My
man?
favorite part of the night is watching Lakers fans be sad.
Oh, sad Justin Spears.
Shout out to my boy Justin Spears, who's depressed as all hell tonight.
That's all right. He's still half drunk off all the champagne he drank when they won in the bubble. So.
And I was surprised LeBron came back in with 5 minutes left. I thought he would have been in the locker room by then, but he came back in.
Hey, he's just saving it up for Game 7. All right?
Oh yeah, he'll be there, right? He'll be here in Phoenix.
Saving it for getting treatment for Game 7. Hey, let's talk about Denver a little bit. The Suns are going to play Denver.
Real quick. Just before we go to Denver, I want to hit us with a little.
Yeah. Do it, baby. Do it.
Hold on.
Do it. Come on now.
Watch 2021.
We can't not do 8 and Watch, Dave. So this segment is brought to you by Just Sports. If you enter promo code SunsJam while checking out, you get 50% off your purchase.
50?
15. 15. 1-5.
Damn,
How the Suns Jam session, guys?
I'd go down there right now.
Once
They're
again,
giving it away?
Suns Jam.
Suns
when
Jam
you're
session
checking
clearly
out.
said 50%.
What do you mean? Again, DeAndre Ayton, not the greatest night statistically. 8 points, 2 for 2 from the line, but only 4 shots. He had 3 rebounds, 1 assist. I just want to give a shout out to DeAndre Ayton in this series. He was absolutely fantastic. The last 2 games, I think he averaged 8 points. He had 8 in both games, but it doesn't matter. His impact is on the defensive end. We've been saying it all year long. And for the people who didn't respect him all year long, you're seeing he was cultivating his talent. He came through offensively when we needed him to. When the Lakers allowed him in those first couple of games, they're like, okay, we're not going to focus on him as much. We're going to throw these double teams. The Suns took advantage. Shout out to 8 and Watch 2021 and DeAndre Ayton and his performance in this series.
Can we just agree though that DeAndre Ayton knows when it's time to step on the stage? And man, they were up 30 in the first half 2 days ago and up 29 in the first half in this game. Ayton's like, okay, I can chill. He really said there's only 3 other guys in the history of playoff basketball that had more points and rebounds in their first 4 playoff games than DeAndre Ayton, and they're all in the Hall of Fame. So DeAndre Ayton was great when the series was in the balance and necessary, and he coasted the last couple of games. I can't wait to see him against Nikola Jokic.
The only thing I would like to see is that the Suns give him a little bit more when stuff is rocking.
Yeah.
I tweeted that out. I was like, feed DA when nobody's making shots and things are kind of going haywire. Feed DA, see what he can do down low, maybe get some more foul trouble, get to the free throw line a little bit earlier. That's the one critique I would have about the Suns, and that they don't really do a lot when the boat is rocking.
Look, you could see DeAndre Ayton's impact defensively when they pulled him and LeBron just started dominating down low, right, in the third quarter. And the second that Ayton came back in, that stopped.
Yeah.
That's his impact. He was great offensively early in the series, but he knew the bread and butter, like he knew all year, was defending that paint, and he did that spectacularly throughout this series.
Yeah.
But by the way, go ahead, Lissy.
No, go ahead.
I was
You did it by the way, so go ahead.
I was just going to say, has
Go ahead.
has Dario been on a smoke break the entire series?
Oh yes, no. This has been the
Sarge smoke break.
Yeah, Dario was on a smoke break the entire fucking series. He was hanging out by your local Circle K. If you go around back, he doesn't hang out up front. It's too bright up there. Those bright neon lights with the fluorescent. A lot of bugs are attracted to that, like little mosquitoes and such. So he's actually around the corner by the dumpster lighting refries. For those of you who don't know what a refry is, it's when you walk by an ashtray and you pick up used Marlboro lights and you smoke them there because you can't afford them.
I thought
Dario
the
has
neon
been.
lights reminded him of the bright lights of the playoffs, and he shrinks from them.
What kind of cigarettes does he smoke? Are they menthols or?
I don't know. John, right?
No. He probably smokes like Chesterfields without a filter. Like he's a no filter guy for sure.
No filter.
I did not need a filter.
Hashtag no filter.
They need to give him like a time machine to go back after the 30s and sponsored. Like, wasn't that when the cigarettes were like the best in the 30s or 40s?
No, it was like after World War One when they had the Lucky Strike.
Yeah,
That's when-
Like the Mad Men era.
That's when doctors recommended that you smoke.
Yes.
So he should go on the time machine, man.
Don Draper did such a great job promoting those Lucky Strikes that like everybody's like, oh, it's like I like to have Cheerios with milk and a cigarette.
There you go.
I think Dario's mustache acts as the filter, so it's all right.
So there you go. That is brought to you by Just Sports. Remember, Suns Jam at checkout, 15% off, yada, yada, yada. Before we get to the Denver 15, 1-5, I should have said like 16. No, I should have said 12. I wanted 22 for DeAndre Ayton for Ayton Watch, but they said no. Real quick before we get to Denver, I did want to bring up Lucky 13. This is the 13th time that we've played the Los Angeles Lakers, and we have won now. So we're 8-5 against them. So again, that number 13 keeps kind of coming up. Steve Nash was 13. Chris Paul is number 3. Devin Booker's number 1. 1, 3, 13. So 13 might be, we have
Sean
what?
Marion in a mirror was.
We have 12 victories to go. 13. There you go. Yeah. Sean Marion backwards. But we have 12 victories to go. I wish we had 13, but we had that the other day. But there you go. Lucky 13. The Suns beat the Lakers by 13 tonight. Think
no
about
triskaidekaphobia here.
That yeah, seriously. No triskaidekaphobia. And that was definitely a brought to you by John.
I give that to you.
So let's talk about Denver, okay? Now, definitely don't get me wrong. We're going to celebrate the fact that the Suns beat the Lakers, but you know what? We haven't won the NBA Finals, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 12 more games to win before we win a championship, and it's time to look forward to the team that beat the Portland Trailblazers tonight, led by the guy who's most likely going to walk home with the hardware of MVP, Nikola Jokic. What are you guys thinking when you look at the Denver Nuggets and how they match up against the Suns, a team that beat the Suns 2 out of 3 times this season, although one was without Devin Booker and the other one was bullshit because there was a travel call that wasn't called on Jamal Murray that set the game to overtime.
And one was in double overtime.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. So what are we thinking?
I haven't had time to think about that. I've been
I need to study.
Matthew, tell me about
I need to be in my library. Huh?
Okay.
Tell me about next season, Matthew.
Oh, yeah. I'm not thinking about next season at all.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, I'm just telling you what Booker's going to say next year when they ask him, hey, how come you're shooting 45% now? He's like, oh, it started in the Lakers series, dude. That's what happened. That's what it was.
Yeah. All right. So Denver.
Now, you're just like my dad, Saul. You're just always Saul.
always disappointed. Always disappointed in you. Yeah.
Always
I can see that. Yeah.
I think Saul's actually old enough to be your father too. So.
I don't think so there, Espo. You look older than I do. What are you talking about?
And let it begin with me. Dave, Nuggets, go.
All right, Denver. Yes. So without Jamal Murray there, they are a little bit less powerful, less threatening, I think. And you've got Nikola Jokic, who DeAndre Ayton defends pretty well, which we mentioned a couple of times. And Michael Porter Jr. is their other scorer, and I just feel like Mikal Bridges and Torrey Craig can do pretty well on that guy. And then Jay Crowder, I think, could actually be, I don't know, maybe a little bit of a backup center for behind Ayton because of Jokic's girth. I don't know. What do you guys think as far as backup center when Ayton's not?
I think Dario can play, right? Am I wrong there?
That's tough, dude.
No.
Who's the backup 5?
The Suns?
No, the fucking Nuggets.
Oh,
the Nuggets backup 5?
Yeah.
It's at JaMychal Green.
Okay, so Dario can match up against JaMychal Green better than he could the front line of the Los Angeles Lakers, correct?
Do you go back to him, though?
Yeah,
do you go back to him? Or
absolutely.
Do you keep riding
it's a 7-game series.
It doesn't work. Like, again, just like when you started Frank and all of a sudden you went on this weird run, they bring in Frank and they win 4 of 5, I believe it was, playing Frank in this.
But they still went back to Dario.
3 of 4. Like, I don't know. I don't understand. Give Torrey Craig more minutes if you're gonna try to give somebody more minutes. I don't understand the fascination with Dario Saric. He hasn't had it. He hasn't had it really since the bubble. There were a few brief streaks.
He hasn't had it since he first came back in the season, at the beginning of the season. That was it.
So like I'm just
that one game. Yeah.
I don't understand the fascination.
Dario had a better season. Don't get me wrong. He had a very long stretch of shittiness. I know it's very well documented by myself on Brightside, but he was at a point playing to a level where I thought he could be eligible for the 6th man of the year, and then he fell off a cliff.
Yeah, I mean, deep off a cliff. I will say in this series, I'm kind of, I wouldn't say terrified, but I'm scared of MPJ. He scored 22 points in the first quarter. We haven't seen them with MPJ playing the way that he's playing right now. We just haven't. So I know Mikhail's a good defensive player and Cam Johnson's a good defensive player, but man, he's the one that scares me a little, honestly, more than Jamal Murray, just because of his length and his size. He's a matchup problem.
We have wing defenders. The Trailblazers were the second worst team on defense this year. So we really can't look at anything the Trailblazers did and use it as a blueprint. Yeah, we really can't. No. I mean, the Nuggets are a good offensive team. They're a decent defensive team, but we have wing depth. And again, I think Dario is playable in this series. I absolutely do. I think you give him a chance. Because you're going to need somebody, the great connector, as Monty Williams likes to say. Yeah. What's gonna beat this team is the ability to move the ball, right, Matthew?
Yeah, Monty's going to play him. He loves Dario, and he's going to get some minutes, of course, but he probably won't be as effective. Denver Nuggets, like the Lakers, when we played the Lakers this series, at the beginning of the series, I hope one of them are injured. I don't really care. I'm not as scared of the Denver Nuggets as the Lakers. I'm really not. I know Jokic is the MVP, but to me, they seem more beatable. And even with Jamal Murray, even if he was there, I just think that's a guy that, can get hot and streaky, of course, in the bubble playoffs like last year. But he's not a guy that, you're not going to choose him over Booker, right? You're not going to so they kind of cancel each other out. Jokic and Ayton, the way Ayton plays against Jokic, they cancel each other out. So then you're going depth, you're going bench, 3-point shooting. I know they have, what's his name that just filled in for Murray? That's really hitting some nice shots for them. I forgot his name.
The guy from
which
Euro
one? League. Will Barton or
I forgot. I'm sorry. I haven't really looked at them yet. Right. I only watched one playoff game.
Monty Morris has been playing really well.
Monty Morris, that's who it is. And I mean, the Suns' depth, just like tonight, man, they had the 3-point game they needed to beat the Lakers. They 51%. 51%. So I'm going with the Suns' depth on this because everything else really cancels each other out.
Look, I agree. I think it's going to come down to depth, but I think Torrey Craig is going to play a big part in this series. He knows that team, having been part of that team. He knows their system. He's got beef. I think he could be a key cog. Now he's not going to be the guy that drops 20, a night or anything, but I think he's going to do little things that have a major impact on this series. And then Devin Booker will punk Austin Rivers at some point in this series, and I am there for that. I am there for that.
I can't believe Austin Rivers was a difference maker in that Portland series.
That's how bad Portland is, though.
That's how bad Portland's defense is, I guess.
What are you thinking, Saul?
I just think this game. I think this series is going to go 7. That's my initial gut reaction. I feel like Denver. I feel like maybe to a degree you guys might be underplaying Denver a bit. And Denver to me has always been that team. Them and the Clippers have always been the two teams that I've been the most scared to play in the playoffs. Because I knew that the Lakers might have issues with their chemistry and injuries and blah, blah, blah. So I think it's going to be a fun series. I think it's going to be the funnest second round series to watch by far. Maybe the Nets and the Bucks, just because that's two incredible teams. Yeah.
So I think you're right, though. They're big. They've got size. Plus, you can't discount the fact that you're going to have to play at mile high elevation.
True.
Which takes a toll too on teams, which depth will be important from that. You're not going to be able to play guys 40 plus minutes and not expect them to get winded,
That's why it's nice to have home court advantage, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So you look at the Nuggets overall, they are 8th in points per game. They are 8th in opposing points per game, 7th overall in offensive rating, 12th in overall defensive rating, and 6th in net rating in the NBA. Obviously, they are led by Nikola Jokic, who, get ready, Suns fans, because you're going to hate this guy. This guy, I mean, I've watched plenty of this series.
I actually love Jokic.
I don't hate him at all.
I don't hate him at all.
But you're going to hate the way that he is an off-arm guy. He is a guy who pushes off with his off arm.
He's
the whole
phony
time.
baloney.
Yes. He's a phony baloney. He's gonna generate a lot of free throw attempts for him. Matthew and I know from experience. I feel like every time the Denver Nuggets have come to town in the past 5 years, we've been at the game. Thankfully, again, we don't have to play against Jamal Murray because he is a Suns killer. It was the high screen and roll with him and Nikola Jokic in the last 3 minutes of a game is fucking deadly, and the Suns don't have to deal with that. But you still have to. Go ahead.
Are they playing Monday or Tuesday?
I don't know. When is the first game?
Monday, 7 p.m. is what I
Monday.
saw.
So Chris Paul is going to get 3 full days of rest.
Before he's play
Thank
Campazzo.
goodness. So that's going to be valuable. And that's probably the one person we're not talking about enough. Chris Paul. There is no matchup for Chris Paul with the Nuggets. There isn't. So if Chris Paul comes out and plays like Chris Paul, that could be the difference maker right there.
Yeah, we kind of just forgot about him, right? That was kind of weird.
It's kind of easy to forget about him considering he was kind of largely gone in this entire series.
Yeah.
You know, he
Which
gave us
makes-
spot minutes, but man, when you just see what he provides when he's actually on and when his arm is feeling decent enough just to throw up something, he's just such a difference maker. Just so awesome.
Yeah, two things. Amazing. That makes when you think about the injury and how little in totality in these 6 games he was able to give the Suns, it makes this win that much more impressive. I also think it teaches the Suns a valuable lesson, though. They saw how important Chris Paul is to them overall, and with the reports today that he's gonna opt out of that $44 million. I think you learned the lesson that you back up the Brinks truck and you give him whatever he's looking for in those 3 years, because he's such a big part of what you do moving forward. So I think there was a benefit to the injury, and you got the benefit of it didn't cost you the series, so everything's good.
Okay, I disagree, but okay.
Well, you're a moron. So
You know what's funny
Thanks,
is
Espo.
moron is a
You're
word that I haven't heard a lot of lately, and for the past week, I've heard a lot of people use it. I love that moron is making a comeback because it really is a good idiot is too far sometimes, and there's other words you can use like dumbass and dipshit.
Who you hanging
Moron
out
is
with, John?
it's a really good one. It's
I mean,
Saul,
people
bring
just-
it back.
I just don't want to pay. I just don't want to play CP3 $66
What if he's a player
million
coach?
in the last 2 years of his contract when he's
5 years, 100
36, 37.
I-
I
you
just,
know
5 years,
what?
100 mil player coach.
you know
That's
what,
you
guys?
need to
This
do.
is off-season talk. Okay, these are going to be great
It is.
podcasts.
Yeah,
It
why-
is. I don't know why
Okay.
Espo brought that bad juju up. In
I
the
don't
first
know,
place.
man.
It was a story
Jeez, you
today.
guys.
I understand
It
why
was
he
a
did. 'cause it was a
story.
story.
I told him to.
Yeah,
Get on him.
Matthew's already talking about next season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know.
these two are in cahoots together.
Cahoots.
They're just
They're-
dad's
they're
raising for the
I'm
night there.
focusing on next season.
These
man.
guys are
Focus
cahoots.
on.
They're in cahoots. These two
Let's get the
youths.
championship.
They're in cahoots.
Screw
I
I
next
can't wait till
year.
we all get together, get in a fist fight each other like last
I
time.
can't wait.
That's gonna be really fun. It's
Like
gonna be like
last
Anchorman, like "Como estás, bitches?" Cahoots,
Killed a
I
man
tell
with
you,
a
says
trident.
Hayden. That escalated quickly. So yeah, Monday night is when we play our first game against those Denver Nuggets. It's interesting because you look at the way that the path to the playoffs and to an eventual Phoenix Suns championship has developed. And when we heard that it was the Lakers, frustration probably set in. I know I had frustration that it was the Lakers, but you know what? We didn't do anything that we shouldn't have done. That is to say, we didn't try to tank games.
Yeah.
We didn't try to set up a matchup in the first round like the Lakers did, and now they're kind of paying that wrath. And I'm really excited to see that
Clippers.
Game 6. I'm sorry, the Clippers. The Clippers did because they have to play a Game 6 against the
in Dallas.
in Dallas against the Nugget and against the Mavericks. Sorry, Dave's like, I love you, Dave. You're like finishing my sandwiches.
The
for me.
Mavericks are Dallas.
Okay.
The Clippers are LA.
You know what I don't like about Dallas is the fact that Dallas backwards is salad with 2 L's. Don't like that.
Salad.
The again,
Jesus.
Going back to the Suns have done
Salad.
everything the right way this season.
Yes.
They really have. They've done it the right way. Holistically as a franchise, holistically as a team on the court, and the way that they've approached every game. You know, how many times when the season began, we're like, oh, CP3, he's going to have to play 75% of the season if we're going to need him in the playoffs. And that's not the mentality of this team. This team has the potential to really do something special. Getting through the Lakers is something that, like, it opens up, in my opinion. I'm not afraid of Denver. Maybe I should be. But I'm not nearly as afraid of Denver as I was the Los Angeles Lakers. Okay,
Darth
the other
having
teams
a
on the other
stroke
side.
live.
What's that?
When
Yeah,
you
I'm
couldn't
having
put your words together.
empty. No, I'm having I was drinking during the game. I'm not gonna lie. So if there's
It's
some
all
spelling,
it's hot in his house too, and he's drinking.
Yeah,
Very dehydrated.
my AC went out like literally in the first quarter. Fucking
Did
AC
it?
went out. Yes.
Now
So-
your AC has to go out in every closeout game.
No.
Yes.
Tomorrow is my wife's
He's
birthday.
just
No, it's
sweating his
superstition, man.
Instead of taking her to a nice dinner, I'd be like, honey, we have to buy a new AC. Happy birthday. So,
You just
Hey,
turn
let
it
me know if
off.
you need to borrow
Turn
money,
it off
John.
at the beginning of every closeout game from now on.
okay.
Okay.
It'll be
Dude.
great in the finals when it's July here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
You know what I'm doing? I'm going to go watch the game with Dave, and I'm going to turn his AC off in that closeout game.
No, that's not what happened. That's not the rule.
You should show up and just turn off his electricity and then walk in, see what happens. All right, never mind.
Awkward for me and him.
Cut the lines.
But tell me, you guys, as we have slayed the Lakers dragon, as Laker Nation is looking at themselves and probably asking themselves, is LeBron really one of ours? Because he's never really won anything in front of us. He did in a bubble in Orlando last year, but he's never really won anything in front of us. As the Suns have slayed that dragon, do you feel like the path to a championship has opened up?
Well,
I say
think
fuck LeBron. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think you give Lakers fans too much credit. They're looking for their Clippers jerseys in their closet right now, and trying to figure out who they're rooting for the rest of the way. They're not thinking about LeBron right now.
No, they all of a sudden they're all Nets fans right now.
2/3 of them in Phoenix just put on their Devin Booker jerseys. Like, yeah, I'm saying Suns in 6 the whole time. So you don't have to worry about that. But look, let's not jinx anything. There's no magical path. You still have to play the Denver Nuggets, who were in the Western Conference Finals last year, and you're going to have to face either the Clippers, the Jazz, the Clippers, who have 2 superstars, the Jazz, who are the number 1 seed, or you're gonna have to deal with Luka if you one of those 3 in the Western Conference Finals. So this is no easy path. This isn't the Eastern Conference where things magically opened up, and you're likely going to have the Nets or Bucks waiting for whoever makes it out of the West. Like, there's no easy path. This is hard work.
I feel like everybody's overestimating the impact of LeBron and AD and underestimating the impact that Rajon Rondo and a couple other guys had last year on that championship team. Like, they've provided stability, and this team didn't have stability whatsoever. And so when I look at the Lakers this year, I was like, sure, they're going to be good. If LeBron and AD were healthy, they would have been very good. However, I don't think their path back to the NBA Finals would have just been a breeze either. I think they're going 6 or 7 games in every series because they have a tough task. That didn't happen, but you still have some quality teams out there that are just like us. They're chomping at the bit. Utah's been chomping at the bit to get to the finals for 3 straight years, and they keep coming up short. The Denver Nuggets, same thing. Like, we have a lot of thirst out there for this title, and we can't just assume that now that we defeated this limp-ass Lakers team that all of a sudden we have the easiest path to the finals ever, because that ain't the truth.
We don't, but I do feel good about it.
Hey, you play the MVP, the likely MVP in the next round. Don't forget that. Don't
without his number 2
underestimate.
player.
I don't know. MPJ's doing a great job filling in that role.
He is. And what's really nice though is having Devin Booker on this team, because usually the teams I root for in a game like this where it's so meaningful, the best player on my teams always comes out and just lays a fucking egg. Booker came out right away. You know what I mean? Like tonight, like I've never seen this before in a team that I've like. I know Steve Nash, but just coming out here like I'm gonna win this fucking game, and the defense that he played, even against LeBron, the whole team, I've never seen this before in a team. So yes, I'm very comfortable with them, and I favor them to go to the championship. But it is going to be very, very difficult, and of course it is. But I've never seen a team like this of mine ever play this way. It's miraculous.
Everything you want is on the other side of hard. I mean, we've heard it, we've said it, and champions adjust. And I saw that in this series. The confidence I have in this team is, tripled after winning this game tonight. It truly has, because they've shown that they can adjust. They've adjusted to the numerous different looks at. I mean, this was a team that clearly outsized the Phoenix Suns. The Lakers, I mean, we shouldn't have had any business inside the lane, and we still dominated them. We truly did. 4-2. And the 2 games that we lost, one of the games, if we had hit a couple shots in the second quarter, we probably would have won game 2 as well. So I'm not cocky. I'm confident in this team right now. That's where I'm sitting right now. I'm I've watched this team all year. I've never seen a Phoenix Suns team like this. That's a fact. They play defense.
I think that's interesting that you say that. 'Cause I don't know how everybody else feels about that, but I kind of feel the same way I do before the series even started. Basically because we didn't get the full Lakers experience, right? And that's what I don't know why. Like right now, I'm more like they took care of business, and they should have taken care of business right now. In games 1, 2, 3, and 4, it was a little bit different because they had their guys and it was competitive, right? But this time, we took care of business. We kicked the shit out of them. We should have kicked the shit out of them. And I'm happy. I'm ready to see how they perform against the Denver Nuggets. I think they can perform against the Denver Nuggets. I expect them to win the series, but I think it's going to be a remarkably different series than it was these last 6 games.
I am
No, it's
glad.
definitely good. Go ahead, Espo.
I was just to say, I'm glad I'm not Saul's kids or his wife. Hey, you just graduated, but you were supposed to do that. Now get your ass into college.
That's what my
take the
dad
next
said to me
step.
when I graduated basic training.
Good job graduating high school. Now get your ass to college.
You graduated college. Now get your ass a job. Welcome to the real world. It sucks. That's this life under Saul Bookman there, everybody.
I feel the same, but I feel more confident in how I feel. Like after a playoff round where they proved it, that they did what I thought they would do. Now I feel more confident that they're going to keep doing it, because there is always that worry when they got into the playoffs that they would forget how to play basketball. There was always that worry when they got punched in the mouth by the Lakers that they would fall down. A little bit of me was worried about some of that, and now I don't have to worry about that. I thought that was really, really nice to see that the Suns played exactly like we thought they were going to in that first round. Now I feel like they can do that every round.
R in the chat says the face of Saul is the face of a man not used to happiness.
How do you think I feel, dude?
Every time
And he
Matthew
doesn't
speaks.
break the face there either. I love it.
I love it. All right, parting thoughts, gentlemen. Parting thoughts.
I just had
Can't
mine
wait for
earlier.
game 1. Yeah.
I'm happy for Devin Booker and DA to be able to shield off a lot of these critics, especially the ones that were watching Devin Booker from afar, especially in all the losing seasons that were going on here. I'm happy for him. I'm happy the way he performed these last 2 games and really just stomped the crap out of the Lakers and put them out of their misery, especially LeBron. And DA, the whole banter about DA, which DA is going to show up on what night and all this stuff. He showed up this series, and he did what his team needed to every single night, even tonight. His team didn't need much from him, and that's about what he gave. He got the rebounds, and that was about it. That's all he needed to do. He didn't need to be a superstar on offense. He held it down on the defensive side like he has been this entire season, and I'm happy for those two. And I'm just so happy that we can stop talking about playoff experience because, that shit didn't matter.
Yeah. Hey, let's get back to business. I mean, I don't disagree with Saul on that mindset. You got 4 more games to win in this series, in this next series. Go do it. Go handle your business. Go out there and play your game, because what the Suns proved all year and proved against the Lakers is when they play their brand of basketball, they're as good as anybody in the NBA, if not better. So go out there, play Suns basketball, get another series win. Let's just keep this rolling, because this is a Suns town, and we remembered it over the last 2 weeks.
And they're all going to say, too, that they can't do it until they actually do it. This whole playoff series, all these rounds into the championship, they're all going to say the Suns can't do it until they actually do it. So that's the best part of it.
Dave, any last words?
My last words are let's get to that Nuggets game. Now I need a weekend just to decompress. I hope the Suns can decompress a little bit and get fired back up, because right now I feel like, God, can't we have like a week off, please? But really, Monday.
Yes. Amen.
Monday's going to come quick, but it's a good thing it is Monday and not Sunday. That gives Chris Paul a little bit more chance to recover from that shoulder. I don't know if you guys noticed, but DA got another stinger tonight.
Yeah.
He was holding his arm.
That was a cheap shot by LeBron.
There was a lot of cheap shots.
Yeah, that was really bad.
A lot of cheap shots this series.
Yeah,
we should all go.
The Lakers went through a whole period where they were just flopping on every single play, trying to get
and
calls.
screaming.
And luckily, the refs weren't falling for it. So, I'm looking forward to Monday. Let's decompress a little bit and then get back and talk about winning game 1 again.
So what Dave is saying is there will not be a sun solar panel on Saturday morning. I promise you that.
I'll do it by myself if you guys don't want to do it. We got Nuggets basketball to dissect.
You're gonna look at the roster
between
between now and then. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys gotta get it.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it. I don't know if I can or not.
It's like, I'm not in
right now.
You guys can do it, but I'm out.
I'm not committing.
I'm out.
I might be there.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, I guess my parting words are just to all of my Laker fans who are at work. I can't wait to see you when I go back to work tomorrow, because I'm just going to say hi, because you know that I know that you know, and that's what matters. This has been a stressful series. I'm glad that it's over, and I'm excited for what lies ahead. There's something special happening in Phoenix right now. When the Suns are in the playoffs and when these runs begin, we've been through it before. Most of us, not Matthew, but most of us have been through it before, and it's electric. It's something that excites you. Going to the games, being around the arena, watching at home, going to a bar, wherever you watch these games, whether you're in Phoenix or you're a Phoenix fan worldwide, there's something special that's going on here in Phoenix right now. Step one is defeat the Lakers. Mission accomplished. # beat LA. It's over. On to Denver, on to Monday. We'll see you live right after that game, as we do after every game. This is a reminder for everybody who is watching along live. Please subscribe on the YouTube channel and smash the like button while you're here. You can become an elite jamster or a flaming baller by clicking the join button or following the link in the description. Subscribe, rate, and review via the Bright Side of the Sun podcast network. That's where you're going to get all of your favorite Phoenix Suns content. You can leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and we'll read it here on the pod. And you can enter Suns Jam at checkout for your online orders for 15% off your purchase. That's right. Let them know the Suns Jam session guy sends you. Again, the promo code Suns Jam. I'm done reading promos. I'm going to go sit in my...
Did you do Manscaped?
Fabio in the chat says Espo is the LeBron of the solar panel, carrying the teammates on his shoulders. Yeah. Does that mean he's also quitting with 5 minutes left to go, or what?
No, he hasn't spoken.
Only in the bed. Only in the bedroom. All right. Only in the bedroom.
Man, your wife is taking L's tonight. What did she do to you in Houston? Man,
marrying me was the biggest L she ever took. So, and she did it of her own free will. So, by the way, if we're just dropping discounts on the table,
do it.
Let's play who's bigger. We head over to manscaped.com, use the code FlamingBallers, save 20%, and you won't get an L in the bedroom when it comes to the misses. You guys will stay in there for those final 5 minutes. So that's code FlamingBallers, 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com.
Fantastic. You can follow the show at Suns Jam. You can follow the show at Sun Solar Panel. You can follow me at Darth Voida. You can follow Matthew.
I want an L. Just one L.
Just one L.
At Matthew Lissy.
You can follow Espo.
At Espo.
You can follow Saul.
At Saul_Bookman.
And I know Matthew follows Dave.
You can follow Dave at Dave King NBA.
All right. On that note, Matthew, got anything else to say?
No, I mean, if you guys want to join me at the spa this weekend to relax, I got one ticket. Any takers?
I'm good. Keep your
towel.
towel.
Can you use it?
A ticket. Who the hell needs a ticket to get to a spa?
What spa?
I don't know how it works. I've never been to a spa, so I don't know what I need to get in. I'm like, what? I got this on Ticketmaster. Does this work?
Matthew, I set you up for your finishing line, and you just totally went fucking sideways on me.
Everyone go home and love your family.
And on that note, happy birthday to my beautiful wife, Shannon. And I'm so sorry our AC's out, and we'll deal with that shit tomorrow.
Do better, John.
And for the last time, you're going to hear this song from Zane Zor. Ladies and gentlemen, we did it.
Let me hear it. Let me hear it. Let me hear it. Come on, let me hear you say BLA. Let me hear you say BLA.